Coaches, welcome to Championship Culture. Got a fantastic guest for you tonight. Aaron Hart is in his third year at Lincoln High School in Seattle, Washington. He is a culture guy, really building this program the right way. Pretty neat that we get to talk literally coast to coast. Aaron says this is not his normal comfort zone, but I sure am excited about hearing how you build your program, Coach, and stealing your ideas. So thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for having me. And really just thanks for the invitation. This is a real pleasure for me to do.
Well, I'm excited about hearing you and hearing how things are working out there. I know you're like us. You haven't got to play yet, and we're being very positive and faithful, thinking that it's getting close. I think we're 2 weeks away, and you said you're getting ready to roll in February. Is that what your plan is?
Yeah. So the state or the WIA, our governing body, said that we could start going February 1st, but our district has decided on February 22nd. So that's what we're shooting for.
So we're starting February 1st. So we're almost in the exact same boat. So let's get to this, man. First question. Can you give a 1-minute elevator introduction of yourself?
Sure. My name's Aaron Hart. I'm the head football coach for Lincoln in Seattle, Washington. Kind of a unique situation. Lincoln High School was opened in 1907. It was one of the biggest high school. It was the biggest high school in Seattle in the 50s. And then it shut down in 81, and it was due to the downturn in the economy. And then we reopened in 2019. So my first year was the first year back. We opened with a full freshman class and a half of a sophomore class. And I'll tell you, it's a lot of fun. Like I've enjoyed it, but man, it has been a lot of work and a lot of challenges that we've had to overcome. We're an inner city school, but we don't have any fields on premise. We have to bus kind of everywhere, and we just kind of adapt, and our guys are great about it. We see the challenge, and we just let them know we're not like everybody else, and this is us, right? And it's great.
That's a neat story. Is it original, like colors and mascot and all that stuff?
Yeah. So original. Well, the mascot it was always a lynx, but they updated the logo a little bit. I don't know. Hopefully, maybe in the future they'll do some sort of retro look. I don't know. But originally red and black. And it's So it's kind of all they tried to, which is great because I'm a big history guy, especially around football and stuff. It's pretty exciting. Side note, Don Coryell. I don't know if you know Don Coryell.
Oh, yeah.
Big innovator.
Of course, man, I'm an air raid guy.
Yeah. Well, he graduated from Lincoln High School.
Awesome.
So he's alumni. So that they tried to keep as much of the history with it, which is fantastic. I'd love to. It's been a challenge for me because they've been closed for so long. To kind of get enough alumni that played football back in the day to kind of get some of that historic things with us, because I definitely don't want to see it go away. I want to incorporate it with what we do.
Old building or new building?
It's an old building that they retrofitted. That's the main building where the gym and all of that is. That was kind of built, I think, later, like in the 60s and stuff. So they redid all the school. They haven't got to the gymnasium and stuff as far as that refit yet, but they're trying to get that done as well.
Well, that's really neat. I haven't heard of that happening before. So that's and I'm the same way. I like to get the old yearbooks and see the old uniforms and old helmets, and I'm all about that too. All right, question number 2. How do you define culture in your program?
So in general, I kind of define it, I saw something from Chris Peterson a while back, and I don't know if he took it from somewhere else, but it was building an environment for people to do their best work. And I agree with that, but I think that additionally, I think there's more to it than that, with us, right? I mean, I think it's also kind of setting and meeting like expectations with our community school and what our coaches are, and I think, even most importantly with that is clearly defining what those expectations are, with us. And I think that that's something that we really try to do. I think especially in today's climate with athletes and people that they want to know why, so we really try to define, if we tell them to do something, we don't tell them to do something unless we know the why as to why we want them to do it. And we really kind of try to define that, I think I blend a lot of stuff, I mean, I'm a little bit older now. And I'm very old school in the fact that I'm super black and white, and I'm very, disciplined. But we're new school in the fact that, we're positive, we never yell at kids, that isn't allowed, period, with our coaching staff or anybody around us. So, we're kind of a new breed, I think, but they know that I hold them accountable, and our coaches do, and we kind of set those expectations clearly and go over them all the time, So,
Awesome. Awesome.
yeah, and I think that there's a lot more stuff to that, too. I mean, it's setting, everything about what you are, right? Like, so with Lincoln, and a lot of schools are academic based, right? But academics is a high, it's very high on the list here, right? And I think even, we're striving for a 3.2 team GPA, and I think being completely remote this last semester, I think that's a fantastic thing. I mean, we've had some kids that have had some struggles with the climate that we're in right now and stuff, but I think that, we take the time to set up calls and meet with them, twice a week or whatever it takes to try to help them elevate their grades and get those things done, or with us, I mean, with a lot of other programs too, they're super safety conscious, right? But, we strive, and we preach that all the time with how we tackle or block to how we lift in the weight room. And if somebody's not quite to that level, we take them back a step, and they have to learn how to do things the right way before we progress. So I think that there's that culture, there's so many things to it that, it just, you could go on, but we try to touch every bit we can.
You mentioned the academics. How we struggled with the distance learning of the first semester. How what kind of how successful were you with the distance learning, and what were kind of some of the hopefully we're not going to have to experience this again very very soon, but what were some of your tips to help your kids be successful with the distance learning?
Yeah, well, I mean, my biggest challenge was, again, we're so new that some of the systems to have in place, like for grade checks, right? It's been a little bit more of a process to get those grades. So that's been kind of the biggest, challenge, I guess I would, so to speak. But we have a lot of really, I mean, we have, I don't know, man, 4 or 5 of our kids have 4.0 GPAs and things like that. But we have, other kids where, the biggest thing is really kind of, they're so young. Our team is so young that they just don't understand the ramifications of not having good grades, right? So really, I think that the biggest thing for us is, me meeting with them. I've like, there are several of them that I still meet with twice a week, and I go through, they can display what their assignments are, and I go through each and every one of them, and then just constantly, reiterating that, one, you're not going to get to play if you can't get your grades up once we do hit the field, right? Because we will eventually be able to play, and 2, it's just, you're closing doors. You got to try to keep as many opportunities open as possible, right? And good grades just allows you to do more things, whether it's college or whatever that is. So we just try to keep those doors open and just, keep on iterating on that. And, we have good parents, and they tell them the same things. I know that they do. But you know how it is being a parent, the last person you want to listen to is your parent, generally as a kid. So
uh how many coaches do you have on staff with you?
oh man, year 1, we had me and 2 other guys, and then we had an alumni that kind of helped out. So that was, I could just tell you how many roles I had. But now I think we're up to 7. I think 7 of us now, which is great, but some of them I've never met in person. I've interviewed them and hired them online, and, and talked to them, and, really try to do the best. My thing is with coaches is, I don't really, I mean, I'd love to have some guy that was a super X's and O's guru, but that's not, I'm trying to hire individuals, really good people to be around our kids. That's really what it comes down to. The rest of it, we can teach and we can go over, and, we can get that right.
I'm with you. I'm the same way. You hire for character and attitude, and you can teach them the rest. You train for everything else. All right. Question number 3. All right, nuts and bolts time. What are the three best things you do to build culture in your program?
Ooh, well, we're still kind of boiling the ocean, so to speak, with Lincoln. I mean, my biggest thing, I mean, I've borrowed a lot. I borrowed
Yeah.
from Randy Jackson. I borrowed from you, right? And it's just like my biggest challenge is I don't mind borrowing. Like there's no, to me, there's no shame in that, right? But and I don't, anybody that knows me, I will reach out to any person and talk to anybody about anything just to try to get more information, right? But I think that it's also been trying to come up with something that fits us, like fits who our staff is, who our kids are, who our community is, who Lincoln is. So it's kind of just this, this thing. Like, so last year, you do your weekly or your daily thing, like Toughness or whatever, and send that out. And I was doing that with our guys. I would be running the weight room in the morning, and we would talk a little bit about that, and then so kind of evolving that, I'm just trying to figure out like further and further what we do. And I was able to watch this. It was like a webinar with Carlos Lynn. He's the head football coach for Cedar Hill in Texas, and he was talking about how they have this thing called Climb, and he, I think, in turn got it from somebody else. So and each letter stands for something, right? And which I thought was great because it has 5 letters. I could incorporate that into like a weekly thing that we can talk about. And the Climb, it's commitment, little things, intensity, mental toughness, and brotherhood. And then under the hood of that, I just kind of list out, and it's still a work in progress, like I said, but commitment, it's like, what are our core values, right? And then we add items in there like accountability, and things like that we can talk to, so on Mondays we'll have, it'll be about commitment, and we'll talk about that, and then on Tuesdays we'll talk about the little things. And the little things with us is, I would say, out of all of these things, it's probably the most important thing to us, and something we just had a team meeting a couple of weeks ago, and I definitely talked more about this than anything. And it's what's important now, and then focusing on like that incremental of getting better, and I broke it down to them of like goals, like our goals, like, and we've gone through SMART goals and all of these things, but about how, even how I get it, like, so I'm bad about, I read a lot, but I don't read a whole book all the way through. Like I'm really bad about that, so I told him this year, I broke it down. I was like, I'm going to read 12 books. Right. And I broke it down of like, a book a month is basically this and this and this. And so eventually, like the math, it's like, that takes me like 20 to 25 minutes a day to read. Well, I can do that. But if you just say, hey, you're going to read 12 books next year, that's really hard for me to do. So it's those kind of things that I really try to talk to those guys about, and try to say, hey, this, we're so young, and we're battling and stuff, but and where we want to go, that's a long ways away. But if we just keep on chipping away what we can, I mean, that's kind of where our bread and butter is, I think. And then we go into intensity, which is, our passion. And we talk about a sense of urgency around our program all the time. Urgency is a big deal for us too, and then Thursdays would be mental toughness, and how you act when things are going your way, and how you act when things aren't going your way, and I have good examples of, in coaching or my personal life of, those things going that way, and so do our other coaches. And then we get to Friday, and Friday really aligns well to me with brotherhood, with, game day and that kind of thing. And and we talk a lot about family, and what it means to be a brother and sister or whatever. To me, brother is like a, we've had year one, we had a girl on our team, and there's no, I mean, we just encompass everybody in brotherhood and kind of go with that. But it allows us a framework, and able to kind of cover everything we want, and able to have it so we can kind of brand it as well, right? We can have Climb everywhere. We can have posters, or kind of getting back to some of the stuff like I've heard Randy Jackson talk about, or whoever, and just kind of really marketing who you are and what that is, and having it present all the time.
We had a girl kicker my first year here at Hopton. So when we talked about toughness, I would always say we got 50 tough men and one tough woman.
Yeah. And then, I mean, that's kind of like our, I don't know, our big thing that we've been working on, and then I think some of the other things that we do as far as, it's some of it's ad hoc. I'm big on writing cards. Like, so to me, it's cheap to get some custom Lincoln football thank you cards. And I write them to everybody. I mean, I must write 3 a day. It doesn't matter if it's administration, if it's a team parent, if it's a player's birthday. Um, I'm constantly writing something. And, I mean, coaches that I get stuff off of, I write them cards. And to me, it's like, it's better than email, right? Because like when I send it out, I mean, I'm truly not, email or text just allows, somebody gives you an immediate feedback, right? I don't really necessarily want feedback, right? Like I don't want somebody to go, hey, you're great too, or whatever, right? I just really want to say thank you for what you did or whatever. And I think that it's meaningful, when somebody takes the time to self-address, like, an envelope and write a handwritten card and put a stamp on it and put it in the mailbox and stuff. So to me, little things like that with our community, I think that, that's kind of, one of the things we do as well, and there's other things like, sorry, coach.
Is your goal 3 a day, or is it just you take it as it comes?
I take it as it comes. I mean, I've turned out 10 a day, but I mean, some days I don't do any, I mean, today I did put 3 in the mailbox. And I don't write them just to write them either, I mean, they have to mean something to me. But I definitely try to send, and it takes time. I mean, if you're really putting some thought into it, I mean, a given day, it could take me a half an hour, but I usually get up in the morning, get my cup of coffee and, start writing, and I try to hit everybody in our team. I'll write it to a freshman kid that I barely know, and I think that that's important because those freshmen don't know. I mean, we try to have in our team. We don't have a culture of like there is no difference. Like with our coaches and stuff, I talk to them all the time and our team about. I'm as willing to pick up trash as I would expect anybody else to. There's no ego on our team, top to bottom. But I do remember being like a freshman or even in college or whatever, and you walk into this thing and it's so much bigger, and there's these upperclassmen around and stuff. So it's important to reach out to them and try to tell them how important they are.
No, I like it. I haven't utilized that one. That's a good one.
Yeah, and then we'll do other things like I do. I've been known to smoke some meat and barbecue a bit. And I try to, recently I haven't, just with COVID and it's been a little bit rainy here, but I try to, I do a team drawing and I'll pull 2 names and I'll make them like a homemade meal, like, brisket or ribs and my homemade beans, which is kind of my signature dish anyway. And then some homemade coleslaw or something and package it all up and take it to them. I think that's, it's just, I don't know, it's just a nice way to give back and kind of, with us, it's, I was originally from the country, is just trying to build that sense of community around us, and in an inner city, it's a little bit more challenging, I think, but it still can be done. And that, I think the end game of where I'm going is just really that sense of community around our team.
I like it. I like it. Of course, I'm in North Carolina now, so you don't have to talk about barbecue too much.
Yeah, I don't know that I could barbecue like that, but I try.
Well, every man's got to try on the grill. All right, that's all fantastic stuff, Coach. I really like the handwritten notes idea too. So, question number 4: what do you know now that you wish you knew when you first got started?
Yeah, so I mean, one of them that I don't know that it's really applicable to me, but I definitely talk to my coaches about it. Is the being yourself. I'm old enough now that I've learned to be myself. I don't try to be somebody I'm not. But I'm not a rah coach by any means. I'm pretty like subdued on the sideline, But I want to have rah coaches. I mean, I want to have different personalities around our team, and and I try to express that to the younger coaches that be yourself. Don't be me or don't be somebody else. But I've seen people go wrong with that. But I think the biggest thing that I've learned over the course of coaching, and especially with this football community, is just how open and willing people are to help you. I mean, like I said earlier, I think, I'll reach out to anybody and everybody. And, you know, you'll be in a clinic and somebody will say, yeah, reach out to me and I'll get back to you. And every now and then you'll get somebody that doesn't respond. Right. I mean, it happens, whatever. But for the most part, people are so good about helping you. You know, I mean, I'll like I said, man, I've talked to people in Texas. I've talked to people all across the United States, and you know, via Zoom or whatever, and they're all just more than you know. There was an Illinois clinic not too long ago, and I reached out to a couple of Illinois coaches, and they were just so. I mean, you know, I had to get up at 6 or 7 in the morning to meet with one of them or whatever, but they were so over the top helping you. You know, I think that's one thing that a young coach could, you know, don't be apprehensive about asking for help, because a lot of what we do is not new, right? And somebody's done it before, and there's a lot of knowledge out there and a lot of expertise. So, you know, and just ask.
I was in a seminar on Sunday, and you know, at the end of the seminar, everyone that was in there was thanking the guy who did it. Rob, it was Rob Gilbert, Dr. Rob, and he said, you know, everyone always thanks me, but I'm addicted to teaching. I enjoy doing this. I can't survive without teaching. And I think that's true in the coaching business. You know, their coaches love to coach and teachers love to teach. So all you got to do is ask most of the time, and they'll help you any way they can. You know, it's what they do.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I had it today too, actually. So there's a school up north, and the Coach Myers started up a program before probably 3 or 4 years before we did. And I reached out to him like right away when I got the job, and just asked him what they do and kind of how they did things and stuff. And, you know, and he was so helpful. And they've been in a little different situation about practicing. And he kind of called me today and just kind of was asking like how we've been dealing with our COVID practices when we had them and stuff. And it was kind of cool that I was able to give back a little bit, and, you know, just give him like, well, this is what we did, and this is any materials that we had or whatever. And, you know, take it or leave it. But at least, you know, I was able to give some information. So
we got to go. We had one team in the area that was in a different system, and they were allowed to practice. And I went and watched them, and that helped me more than probably anything. Just seeing them have really good practices, following all those, you know, crazy COVID rules. And when we had mini camp, I felt like our camp went really well because I had seen them do it. You know, so just, you know, getting to go watch people practice a lot of times is a huge thing. So that's another one for young guys is, heck, not only just ask them, but go watch them.
yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I always pick, you know, and it's like I heard somebody say this in a clinic. It's a nugget. Can you get one nugget out of it? You know, I mean, it's worth it to me to sit through an hour-long session if I just get one thing out of it. I mean, you know, and I'll take it, I'll use it, you know. So
I don't know if that's age though. You know, I don't know if I was that patient when I was young, but I literally now, when I go to a clinic, I just want one good idea. That's all I care about. But when I was young, I wanted them to draw up the best play in the world for me, you know, that kind of deal. So
yeah,
I think wisdom comes with age a little bit on that deal.
yeah, I think you're right.
All right, so we're on question 5. First, your contact information, Twitter.
My Twitter is kind of funny. So Coach Hart at lynxfootball.com is my email. So it's COACHHART at LYNXFOOTBALL.com. My Twitter is kind of, it was from before I even got started. There's a different funnier story to that, but it's at Death Cowboy. So DEATHCOWBOY. I'm not a big social media guy at all. I don't really have Facebook, and our Instagrams just are kind of our team page. But
You want me to put put the email down as your primary contact?
yeah, that's great.
Okay. When I put it on the show notes, I'll put your email.
Okay, thanks.
All
Yeah,
right.
and I don't have anything I'm promoting, you know, but I would definitely like to, you know, kind of say thanks to, you know, our community and our administration, our athletic director Brent Brackey, and you know, I guess I should say first and foremost my wife and my kids for putting up with me, because that's I do put a substantial amount of time into this, you know, and then our awesome coaches Talon, Eugenio, Funk, Dyer, Woodburn, Trumbauer, Brown, and T Hart. So those guys are, My coaches, they work super hard, and they're super good guys, and we're not getting rich doing this, so they do it for
Younger
love.
guys or a good mix? What do you got on your
You
staff?
got a good mix, I mean, we definitely have some younger guys. I've got a couple guys in their early 20s, well, 3 of them. And then recently got a guy it's closer to my age, in his 40s, and then a couple guys in their 30s. And then we have an alumni, Coach Dyer, that helps us out. And it's cool to have an alumni on board, and he kind of just helps with film and equipment and stuff. But so
I always like getting, I got some guys who I coached, and then I've got some guys who played at the school that we're at, and it just means something more to them. Those guys that are coming back and coaching at the school they graduated from, they're very passionate about it. I enjoy having those guys on staff, so I know what you mean with the alum.
yeah.
AD, what does he coach another sport, or is he straight AD? How does that work?
No, so here he's got a full bag, right? So he's basically having to build this thing out, and then he actually teaches math half the day, I think. So he's a teacher, and then he doesn't do any coaching. He did play college baseball, so he definitely knows sport and things like that. But super nice guy, and definitely works hard.
Well, buddy, you did a fantastic job, and you did drop your gold nugget, the handwritten notes thing, especially. Now I do it. I do handwritten thank you notes to my big dog donor guys, but I like the idea of just writing them to the players. I think that's a great idea. That's something I haven't done, and so I'm stealing that one. That one's stole. So
Yeah,
I
it takes a little legwork to begin with, because you got to get addresses and things like that you may not have to, you may not have, and get their, like their birthdays or something, if you want to send them a birthday card, right? So.
do you do that? Do you do the birthday thing?
Yeah, I send them everyone a birthday card.
That's awesome. That's such a simple one. Such a simple one that makes a big difference. Especially, I think that one's bigger when it comes in the mail. I think it means more to them.
Yeah, well, and they should know it, right? I mean, they do mean a lot to us, and so I think that kind of thing, and getting that is definitely important.
Well, man, you did fantastic, and I appreciate you coming on. What's the weather like out there right now?
It's been good this week. I don't even know what the temperature was today. It was clear and probably 45, I want to say. It was raining pretty hard the last couple of weeks, but this week has been pretty decent. So
I kind of giggle to myself every time you say it was raining, because for a southerner, that's what all we hear about is Seattle, is it's supposed to rain all the time.
Yeah, but it's different. Like, I mean, like I said, I'm from Wyoming originally, and when it rains, it rains. Like, it's hard. Like, for the most time here, like it's more of a mist, or or a drizzle. Like, it's not like this hard, like big droplet kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
But it does it more often, for sure.
Well, that's, when you're that far away, like, that's all I know about Seattle is maybe, are they supposed to have good coffee and it's supposed to rain all the time? That's the 2 things I know about Seattle.
Yeah, and grunge and Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. All right, man. Well, I sure do appreciate you doing this, and we're gonna be keeping an eye on you. I know you're. I got faith that you guys are gonna be cranking it up here soon and have a great season. I appreciate you doing this, brother.
You same. Thank you so much.
Thank you.